Hi, this is Meathead. Welcome to my channel and to a new video about time-enduring series and movies that change your life. Today's episode is dedicated to Chips, an American crime drama series that followed the adventures of two motorcycle officers of the California Highway Patrol. Have you ever wondered what happened to the actors and actresses starring in the show? If that's the case, stick around to find out. Remember to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell to catch our next episodes in this series. Let's take a trip to the past and relive the emotions together. Brody Greer as Officer Barry Barixa. He is credited in 112 episodes of Chips, and that's pretty much all there was to his acting career. The last we saw of him on screen was an appearance in a single episode of the show LA Heat, back in 1999. These days, he spends his time coaching the volleyball and basketball teams for the High School of Carmel, California. Wagner as Harlan Ehrlis. His most famous roles came early on in his career, as Lucius in the original Planet of the Apes in 1968 and the follow-up Conquest of the Planet of the Apes in 1972. In fact, at 72 years old, he is one of the only two members of the main cast belonging to the legendary film, still alive today and alongside actress Linda Harrison. Brandi Oakes as Officer Bonnie Clark. She got her start as a fashion model in her hometown and quickly became a rising star in the scene for the entire country. Famously, she took up acting at the age of 23 after overhearing a conversation between two models referring to someone as kind of a young Randi Oakes. Oakes became a frequent guest star on television during the late 70s and early 80s, but retired completely following the birth of her first child in 1985. She's been married for 40 years to TV actor Gregory Harrison, with whom she has 4 children. Michael Dorn as Officer Jebediah Turner. The actor and director became known for his portrayal of Lieutenant Commander Worf on Star Trek: The Next Generation and Star Trek: Deep Space Nine for a total of 11 years. Standing at almost 6'3" and with a deep, resonant voice, Dorn played a great deal of police officers early in his career and quickly grew tired of them. After the success of Star Trek, he had small roles in several independent features and continues to act to this very day at the age of 68. In a 2010 interview, he revealed a very early diagnosis of prostate cancer, which prompted him to turn vegan. Brianne Leary as Officer Cindy Cahill. She was a gymnastics champion in high school and first appeared on television as a contestant of the famous game show Match Game in 1976, going on to consistently land small roles in television, mostly during the 80s. Transitioning out of acting in 1996, she created a Canadian children's show, Sticking Around, with Robin Steele. In the year 2000, she was co-anchor on YNYW New York's Good Day New York, and 7 years later, Cahill received a patent for an innovative portable device for cleaning animals' paws called Pet Plunger. She's been married since 2011. Terence Giller Jr. as Officer Benjamin Webster. His most famous role on film came in 1988 when he played Theo, a computer expert and thief in the action classic Die Hard. After a few guest starring roles on TV, he began working for a long time with Chuck Norris on Walker, Texas Ranger in 1993, as fellow Ranger and best friend of Walker. Aside from acting, Gilyard spent most of his time since then as a university teacher, taking a break around 2012 to work in a few independent productions here and there. Currently, he is an associate professor at the College of Fine Arts in the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, and has been married for 20 years to his second wife, Elena, with whom he has 5 children. Robert Pine as Sergeant Joseph Gattrell. His career in Hollywood started with features in various westerns, making good use of his horse riding skills. The actor went on to appear in over 400 productions throughout almost 60 years in the business, but there's no doubt that his most well-remembered role came with the show Chips. Today, he continues to work mostly in television and is still married to actress Gwen Gilford. The couple has been together for an outstanding 50 years and have 2 children. One of them is famous actor Chris Pine, who became the successor of William Shatner as Captain Kirk in Star Trek. Before we go on to the main characters of the show, we'd like to remind all of you who aren't subscribed to click on the icon below and also give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Now, let's continue and discover what happened to the lead actors of Chips. Paul Linke as Officer Arthur Grossman. Paul Linke was born in New York City in 1948 but grew up in Hollywood. Given that his dad worked in show business as the personal manager of famous actor Andy Griffith. His film debut came in 1970 with The Baby Maker, then continued to appear mainly on television until his big break with Chips. Even though he didn't become a big star, Paul's career kept more than afloat, going on to act in several movies and shows such as Motel Hell, Ron Howard's Parenthood, and many more. In 1986, tragedy struck hard in the life of the actor, when his first wife, Francesca Draper, with whom he had 3 children, died of breast cancer. This dark episode prompted him to end up writing and performing the one-man play Time Flies When You're Alive, which was very well received and provided a much-needed release for his grief. In 2000, he directed and co-wrote the play Save It for the Stage, The Life of Riley, which turned into a movie 6 years later. Nowadays, he lives with his spouse Christine Healy, whom he married in 1991, continuing to act, write, and direct. Larry Wilcox as Officer John Baker. Larry Wilcox was born in San Diego in 1947 and was raised with 3 siblings by a single mother in Wyoming. He started studying acting and music after coming back from the army, discharged as a surgeon with merit, and got an agent in Hollywood where he worked in over 300 commercials before landing a coveted role on Lassie. The actor went on to guest star in many popular shows while also building a production company that would have a lot of success. Never afraid to push the envelope, Wilcox was also a race car driver, setting a land speed record, a cowboy competitor, and a pilot. Maybe sparked by the memory of his time on Chips, he became a spokesperson for the Motorcycle Safety Foundation and has maintained a strong commitment to various humanitarian causes. These days, he keeps up with fans through a monthly journal on Facebook and has been married since 1985 for a 3rd time, having 5 children in total. Erik Estrada as Officer Frank Poncherello. Erik Estrada was born in Manhattan in 1949 to Puerto Rican parents. He started his acting career in the early 70s with relative ease, but it was the role of Officer Punch on Chips that for sure pushed him to the next level, rounding off the decade by being voted one of the top 10 sexiest bachelors in the world in the famous Calling of People magazine. After a salary dispute with NBC in 1981, the actor was briefly replaced by Olympic gold medalist Caitlyn Jenner, formerly known as Bruce Jenner. Eventually, he came back to the show and stayed until its cancellation. In the 90s, he was mostly seen on Spanish-speaking telenovelas and released his autobiography, My Road from Harlem to Hollywood, before returning as Punch for the Chips 99 reunion movie. Estrada never stopped working, going on to appear in several music videos, reality shows, infomercials, and more TV series. His efforts as an activist throughout the years are also worth noting, at one point being named the face of famous anti-drug campaign DARE, continuously speaking out for CHPS, car seat inspection and installation program, and even joining law enforcement for more than one state. He has 3 children and has been married for over 10 years with current spouse Nanette Mirkovich. This is all for today on Meathead. We're glad you stuck around to joyfully scratch the itch of nostalgia that this heartwarming show left in all of us. Let us know in the comments which of the characters and actors who portrayed them was your favorite. Any surprises? Remember to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell to not miss out on our next video revisiting the movies and series that changed your life.